Man, it's a beautiful day today. The sun's coming out. It's still early, but the sun's going to come out today. It's going to be mid, upper 70s. Gorgeous day. Perfect day for camping. Unfortunately, it's mid-November, and it's time to winterize the camper. So what's the big deal with winterizing anyway? Well, here in the Kansas City area, even though it's a beautiful day today, it will get cold this winter. And when it gets cold and the temperatures get below freezing, the water in the pipes of your camper will freeze. And I guess according to science, who knows, water expands when it freezes, and when it expands, it can break the plumbing. So you come back next spring, you want to go camping, but instead you have to do a bunch of plumbing repairs. A couple of things that are important to do when you winterize. One is to make sure you get all the water out of the system, and two is to fill the system with antifreeze to protect it. So the first thing we want to do is drain the water out of the system. Now, most campers will have low point drains somewhere on the outside or underneath the camper. Today we are winterizing a 2019 Thor Hurricane. The floor plan is 34R. And for this one, the low point drains are located in this storage compartment. So we're with the third one back from the door, and there's one for the hot and one for the cold. Now remember, on these valves, perpendicular means closed, parallel means open. So we're just going to open these up, and that's going to start letting water drain out of our plumbing. Now this is a Dometic water heater. I believe this one is 6 gallons. And it's full of water, so we need to drain this out. So there is a drain plug right here that we're going to open up and let the water drain. Before we do that, though, it's a good idea to go ahead and lift this little lever and release any pressure that might be in the tank. If you open up that drain plug and there's still a bunch of pressure in there, it might shoot out at you, it might cause problems. Now, this one didn't have any pressure, so we're good to go. Let's take this plug out of here. So we've got water in our tank that is draining now. And I'm just going to leave this plug sitting right in here so that next spring, when we're ready to go again, that plug will be there ready to put back in. So this is a Dometic water heater, and I just have this plastic plug on mine. Some water heaters, when you pull that out, it's actually going to have an anode rod, a little metal rod that is attached to that bolt. It's a good idea to go ahead and replace that rod every year. It helps protect your tank from rust. And you may not need to do it every year, but I think it's a good practice. You're in here anyway to winterize, you might as well go ahead and replace that. There are newer tankless water heaters, and I don't know how to winterize those. So you'll want to check with your owner's manual or look on the YouTubes to see what it takes to winterize a tankless water heater. So the water heater is draining. We've opened up the low point drains. So those have drained, and you might think, well, at this point, we've obviously gotten all the water out. And that's what I would have thought too. However, last winter I learned an important lesson. There's one more place that we need to drain, and that's the freshwater tank. Unfortunately, the freshwater tank, and actually the other stuff we need for winterizing, is located underneath the bed. To get underneath the bed to winterize, we need to flip the mattress up. To flip the mattress up, we need to put this slide out. To put the slide out, we need to put the jacks down. It's a whole thing, don't ask. So I'm going to get this ready, get the slide out, get the mattress lifted up so that we can get underneath the bed and do some more winterization work. Now that we have the slide out, we've got plenty of room in the bedroom to flip this mattress up so that we can get underneath the bed. So everything we need to winterize is under this panel here. Normally it's screwed down, but I don't screw it down because that's just extra work, right? So let's take this panel up. And you can see what we have: freshwater tank, water heater, and this is actually our furnace here, which we don't need to do anything with for winterizing. Now I mentioned there's one more place that we need to drain water from. That's the freshwater tank that you see there on the far side. And this is what I missed last winter. There's a little valve right there. The blue valve. Remember, perpendicular means closed. I did not open that up and let that drain last year, and so the water in that PVC pipe froze, and I had to replace all that piping this spring. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and we'll let that fresh water tank drain. There's a little bit of water in there that needs to come out. That's our freshwater tank draining out. All right, so freshwater tank is now draining. Low point drains have been drained. Water heater has been drained. Now, you think, okay, we got all the water out, we're good to go. The other thing we want to do is we want to pump antifreeze through all the plumbing. Just one last measure of protection. To pump antifreeze through the pipe, we're actually going to hook up a hose to our water pump, and we're going to use the water pump to send antifreeze through the system. It is important though that you don't let antifreeze get into your water heater. So water heaters in campers will always have some bypass valves on them. So you see our plumbing here. The bypass valves are here. So remember, parallel is open, perpendicular is closed. So the way the water comes in here, follow the blue line. It's open down there at the bottom, which lets the water go into the tank. And it's open here at the top that lets the water come out of the tank. And the piece that goes in between is closed. So what we want to do to prevent antifreeze from going into the tank is to close that bottom one, close the top one, and open the middle one. So now the water is going to come here. Instead of going into the tank, it's going to go up through this middle piece, and instead of going into the tank this way, it's going to go out this way. So we've now just bypassed the water heater, allowing the water to go straight through this middle piece and into the rest of the system without entering the water tank. Now we're going to pump antifreeze through our system, and before we do that, we want to make sure that we close these low point drains, to prevent the antifreeze from just running out. We want to pump it through all of the plumbing, and if it just runs out of the bottom of the RV, we're not accomplishing anything. Antifreeze. You can buy this pretty much anywhere. Walmart. I bought the last couple gallons from Menards. You want the pink stuff for RV and marine, and preferably to -50, just to be safe. So we're going to pump this pink antifreeze into our plumbing system until we see pink running from all the faucets. Here's the difficult part about this Thor motorhome, is in order to pump antifreeze into my system, I need to connect a hose to my water pump to directly suck the antifreeze out of the jug and into the water pump and through the plumbing. Unfortunately, the water pump is hidden way underneath this really nightstand for this side of the bed. So this is the nightstand for the bed, and it's underneath there. So I need to connect a hose to that, which will then let me draw antifreeze out of the jug. So that's a port, little plug, that gives us access to this spot. I created this hose, just using, again, pieces that I bought at Menards, a fairly long piece of hose, and I'm going to plug that into the port. So now we've got this hose, which is connected to our water pump. So if I put the other end of the hose into the jug, turn on the water pump, turn on some faucets, it's going to start pumping antifreeze through the system. There's also a valve near the water pump. If you can see it down there, it's currently closed. It's to the right of the port where I've got my hose connected. You want to close that as well. That will force the water pump to suck antifreeze through this hose instead of trying to suck water through that water line that's there. I had half a jug left from last year, so I'll finish that one off first. Just going to put that hose into the jug. You want to run both your hot and your cold. I do them separately. Once we've got pink running out of the shower, I also like to just take the shower off and let it hang there just as a reminder that it's been winterized, and I point it away from the door just to be sure. Don't forget the toilet. Again, you want to run the water till you see pink, which we do. I'll dump some into the tank as well. Leave some there. So I'll start on cold. We got pink. Switch it to hot. It went to clear water, and now it's pink. So what are all the places we need to do this? Well, all of our faucets: bathroom, kitchen, toilet, shower. But there's one more you want to make sure you don't forget: your outdoor shower. There's our pink on the cold side. Goes back to clear on the hot side because there's still water in the line. But then we should see it go back to pink. And there's the pink. Once you get pink running through all your faucets and into the drains, you've got antifreeze through all of your water lines. Another thing that you might want to do, it's a good practice, is to put a little bit of antifreeze in each of the drains so that there's antifreeze in the P-trap of your drain to prevent those from freezing up as well. So to recap, we want to get all the water out of the system. We do that by opening up our low point drains, draining our hot water tank, opening up the fresh water tank to let that drain as well. Then we close our low point drains. We close the valve by the water pump. We bypass our water heater. We connect a hose to our water pump that allows us to pump antifreeze. And then we run the antifreeze through the entire system, through all the faucets till we see pink running out. Put a little bit of antifreeze in the drains and you should be good and protected for the winter. Next thing is to replace the plug on my port, wipe up any mess that I've made, and put this all back together. That's a wrap.